Happy day, health, wealth, life, day 21. How are you? What's been happening? Let me know, give me some, let me know you're okay, give me a thumbs up. Okay, so today is the mess before success. What does that mean? That means that there's a process. So I'm going to tell you a story. The story is that I was talking with my client, one of my clients today, and he is originally from Italy. And what's that? Something on my nose. Anyway, it's gone. Rudolph the red-nosed, probably from my son. I was just feeding him. So my client's originally from Italy, and he was talking about when he first come over and he was learning a language, learning English, and he had a basic understanding from school, but he said he found it so difficult and it was so frustrating when he first come over. He couldn't understand anyone, and he couldn't understand, the programs on television. He couldn't understand the news properly. And then he had different people he was meeting because he's in London, so he's meeting lots of people with different accents, and he found it really frustrating. And can you imagine, do you know a second language? If you know a second language, pop it in the box below. It'd be amazing. I learned Spanish for a while, but I'm not fluent in any way. I know un poquito. So he was saying it's so frustrating. And some days he felt like giving up. He really felt like giving up because he just felt like he wasn't getting anywhere. He wasn't understanding anymore. And it was really, really frustrating for him. And he was angry some days. And he felt like, you know what, I give in. But somehow he kept going because one reason is he set the goal. He wanted to become fluent in the language. He set the goal, and that was the goal. Now, the realization is that these emotions that were coming up for him and these roadblocks that were coming up, and maybe some people weren't being helpful, maybe some were, but they're tricky. And the truth is that whatever your goal, whether it's a body transformation, you're going to come across some roadblocks, some hurdles. You're going to feel like some days it's not really working. Maybe you feel like you're going backwards. You're going to feel like, I just want to break everything I'm doing now, everything I know that's been working over the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever. I want to break it and just do something completely different. You're going to get that. That will happen. But the trick being that there's always a mess before success. There's always a mess. So you can't make an omelette without cracking some eggs. You can't make an omelette without making a mess of all the ingredients you're going to do. Put it in, you mix it all up, it looks like a right mess, and then you cook it up, and then you're left with this nourishing, fills you up, gives you energy. You've left with something great at the end of it. It was worth it. So it's a similar process for everything. So the lesson I learned today, and what I want to just highlight for you is an insight, is that there is a mess before success. And it's at this point, we're now 3-4 weeks into the new year, you might find that you want to break your New Year's resolution if you had any. Or, if you're going, well, amazing, keep that going. Stay in touch with people who motivate you. But if you at this point, it starts to get a little bit tougher because the initial results might start to slow down. You always feel a little bit better. When you start a new language, you think, well, I'm growing really quickly. And then it starts to slow down. But knowing that's the process, which I think most people miss out on. And I've done it many times. I've given up on things that I've started because it got really difficult. And I thought, you know what? I'm not getting anywhere. You know what? This isn't working out the way I thought. And that's a big problem as well, that things don't work out exactly the way we think, exactly the way we picture it in our minds. We think that's not working. I'm going to leave that alone. When really it's all part of the process. There's going to be chaos, and it will slowly get better. Evening, Sarah, good to see you. So there's going to be a mess before the success is the point I'm putting across. Now, if we was all made aware of that, if we was taught this at some point, and maybe you were lucky enough that you were, directly, you weren't conscious of it, or indirectly, you just experienced it, and that's the way you are about it. But most people think when it gets tough, that's a sign to stop. When really it's not. It's just a sign to keep going, keep the activity going. So for instance, you've lost a little bit of weight on the scale so far this year, and your body's starting to trim down a little bit, and your clothes are starting to feel different on your body. Maybe they're getting a little bit too big. Maybe you're fitting into jeans or dresses. Mess before success. Maybe you're fitting into dresses or jeans that were a bit tight. So that's started to happen. Now what you might find, that begins to slow down, but you shouldn't. So when the results and when the outside starts to slow down and you're frustrated and you want it to go faster, which is natural, we all want that, just keep doing the activity that got you there in the first place. Now, if the pattern and the process you're following is good, which you should always have a mentor, someone to look up to about your health and your wellness, someone to look up to who you can trust and can inspire you around your wealth, someone who can look up to and about your relationships, and some coaching in every area of your life. Someone might hit a few areas in one go, but whatever it is, you need 4, 5, 6, maybe 2 or 3 would do it, depending on how good they are, to coach you. So just to keep in touch with the best techniques, because you might be following one person's process of body transformation, body fat loss, and it really doesn't work. It's not that well proven, and it doesn't work. So, but you trust them and you follow them, and you realize 6 months down the line you're not feeling that great and it doesn't work. So check in to see social proof. Are other people trying out their techniques? Are they tried and tested? Are they someone you can trust? Have they been doing it for a long time? Do they stick around? Do they pop up and then disappear, or are they there every day? Think about all these things. But the trick is, once the results and the outside experience begins to slow down, which inevitably will at some point, maybe not right now, maybe in a few weeks, but it will, you need to continue the activities. So for body fat loss, I'll give you the basics. Keep resistance training. Then you need to add in a little period of stretching and developing the stabilizing muscles and the surrounding muscle groups, and then you go back into more intense resistance training. And that's the real basic gist of it. You add that in with, sprints, and cardio for boxing is an amazing way, or kickboxing, Thai boxing, great way of doing cardio. Maybe if you love a class, chuck a class in there, but mix it up, mix the cardio up. If you want to do it really fast, quick start, then the sprint training, which I talked about in another video. So what I want to share today, and the lesson that was made really clear from my conversation with one of my clients this morning, is when he was learning a language, he found it really frustrating, and he said, I wanted to give up sometimes. And I could completely relate to that on a business level. So he's learning a language and he thinks this is really frustrating. This is really hard. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. It's not progressing the way I would like it to. And I could relate to all that stuff on the business level. And we had a great conversation around, hey, that's a really similar process. Maybe even relationships, maybe even with wealth and money. It could get really difficult. You think this isn't going the way I planned. This isn't going the way I thought. So you feel like giving up, you feel like stepping away from it, coming away. But really what we want to do is keep doing the right activities. Check with mentors and people around us. Are they the right activities? Yes. Okay, keep going. Keep doing the activity no matter what is showing up in the outside world at the moment. You need to faith it till you make it. That's another video. Skip back and watch that one if you want to get a little bit deeper on the understanding of that. So the trick really is setting the goal and sticking to it no matter what happens. If we already know it's going to get difficult, it's going to be frustrating, we're going to want to give up at certain points, people are going to annoy us, there's going to be roadblocks and all sorts of other things. If we know that, but the goal is this, okay, frustrates us sometimes, get to bed, wake up the next day, go at it again. Check your techniques. Make sure you're with the right people and really looking up to inspirational people who are succeeding in what you're doing, and keep going. There's 3 people you can learn from in life. I'll do a whole video on this, but very quickly, chuck this in here, is someone who has tried what you're trying to do and failed, someone who's tried what you're trying to do and is succeeding, or someone who's never tried what you're trying to do. Who do you think you're going to learn the most from? So the person who's tried and succeeding, right? This person tried and failed. They're not going to be able to tell you what to do to succeed, and they'll probably tell you not to do it because they failed. Unless they're really honest and say, this is why I failed and you won't. Or the person who's never done it before, they don't know. They don't know what to do. So you've got to talk to the person who's successful. Find someone who's successful in what you want, whether it's health building, whether it's wealth building, whether it's business. Follow them. So easy these days, social media. Get in touch with them, have a conversation with them. Lee and Faye, how are you? So what did I want to say? So the conversation applies to everything, applies to business, applies to health, applies to wealth, applies to relationships. There's going to be frustrating times, there's going to be annoying times, but we know that. If we have that in our minds from the outset, okay, this is the goal, and there's going to be all of this stuff in the way. If we know that, then we don't back off, we don't ease off, we don't stop, we complete every goal. Yeah, maybe. But we'll complete more goals, right? So it'll stop us from quitting too soon. There's another one that's... who wrote that book? if you remember, it's 3 Feet from Gold. Do you know who wrote that book? There was a story about 3 feet from gold. Anyway, I'll talk about that another time. So the trick is, there's a miner. I've posted it on social media before. There's a miner, 2 of them. So one on the top is digging, and he's this far away, and he turns around and starts walking the other way, dejected, given up. And the miner underneath is just about to take the strike and go through, and he just went 3 feet more. So you always 3 feet from gold. If you can just push that extra 3 feet, that extra few feet, you can make miracles happen. And you stay in the game, and you will win. So whatever the frustration, whatever you're doing, it's in Think and Grow Rich. I think it's inside of another book. Anyway, I'll check it out and I'll come back. Thank you. So if this resonates with you, if this is a message that you think, hey, that's made me think about things in a slightly different way, because it's the pattern of everything. It's the process. There's always mess before success. So expect it. Don't call it on. Go for all the success and the positives, but expect it. When it comes to, all right, I knew that was coming. Frustration's going to come. Anger's going to come. You will want to give up some days for maybe an hour, maybe a day sometime, but next day you get back on it. Get back on it. Do what you need to repower yourself. Get back on it. And that's the message today. It's always a mess before success. There'll always be frustration. Just keep going, and we will make it through. We will make it through. So if any of this has resonated, give me some thumbs up. Give me a share. Share it with someone you know directly, or share it on whatever platform that you're watching it on right now. But we are live at this moment, and if you're watching it in as a recording, you can still give me a thumbs up. You can still comment. I will get back to you, and give me a share also. I really appreciate it. So remember, guys, happy is a skill that you can learn, and this is a better way to bring out your personal best. Now let's go get health, wealth. Let's take the world with us. Have an amazing evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Take amazing care of yourself and everyone around you. Enjoy.